Good morning and welcome to the 8th episode of the Zivoli Round Corner, where we bring you all things ESD, and today is no different. Today you're with myself, Lebukham Mashifo, and we're going to talk about a very important topic, which forms part of program execution and really closing off programs. And we have just the person to talk to about that today. We have our resident project coordinator, Khonse Mutau. How are you today, Khonse?
I'm well, thanks, Lebu. How are you?
I'm well. You're in the hot seat today. Were you looking forward to it?
Well, to be honest, I was. But as the days got closer, the nerves also went very, very high.
I can imagine, but you're going to be very famous. People are going to recognize you, don't worry. So today we are talking about something that's really important. But before we get into the topic, maybe just tell us about yourself and just a brief highlight of your career so far.
All right. So like you've mentioned, my name is Khonse Mutau. I am from Pretoria. I'm actually representing a small township. It's not actually small,
It's
but
humongous. Yeah.
So Shanguve 012 representing.
I'm sure they're putting their cars at the moment.
Definitely.
All right, and then tell us about your career so far.
All right, so I possess a diploma in operations management as well as a Bachelor of Technology in quality management. I have leveraged my skills and expertise in my role as a project coordinator and quality coordinator, where I've managed to sharpen my skills, in terms of management, coordination of projects, and overall planning, and being innovative in that space.
And why ESD? Where does it meet with this quality management and operations management?
I think, like operations management and quality, the ESD plays a very vital role. And this is where I've always been wanted to see myself being in, because I'm very progressive in my approach. I aim to innovate, bring change. And more than anything, I think the ESD space, it's quite new for me, actually. I've never worked in such an environment for me, but I find that to be very exciting because I get to be part of the change. I get to be part of the transformation of SMMEs. I get to actually walk the journey and see how, these programs are, helping SMEs out there to be better and better their businesses as well.
Okay. So let's get into why we're here today. So I think, as with all things in life, there's some sort of ending.
Yes.
And the same can be said about ESD programs. So in your own words, what is program exit, and at what point does it happen in a program?
So just in few words, program exit is, it marks the end of an SME's life cycle within a program or within an incubation program, because it marks a point where we are confident in saying that the SMME has underwent the training, the SMME has, used all the tools and resources that we've given them and are ready to stand on their own and implement. So it occurs at the end of the implementation program itself.
But I'm not ready. Why must I exit this program? I want to be here. I want to work in the program. I want to become a service provider. I want to have kids in this program. But what determines why an SME is now ready to exit? What is that?
So, so the implementation team has what we call a criteria that we use to assess the readiness of SMMEs to exit programs. So this criteria speaks to, overall attendance of, established interventions. It speaks to the impact that the program has had, for the SMMEs. So this is established through a criteria that we have in place. That criteria is able to say, you've attended 70%. What we wanted was 70%. So you are ready to exit, right? So that is basically how this criteria speaks to whether or not an SME is ready to exit or not.
Can we assume that a program is amazing because SMEs now exit from a program? So let's say we started off with 20 SMEs at this beginning of this 12-month program, and now 18 of them are graduating. Is this a show of how good the program is, or is this a show of their commitment, or is it both? Can they coexist?
I think, it's a bit of both, in a sense that yes, it's a good thing for us to see SMMEs. We had 20 at the start, that joined the program, and at the end we have 20 that exit. But it's not only that. I think there's other aspects that we need to consider in order to make that judgment. Because for me, it's about the overall impact that we've had from the program. We should be able to see it, right? So at the start of the program, we baseline, we look at where the SMME is at that point, and then at the end, we assess where they are now. And based on that feedback or the results of that assessment, we are able to say, yes, we've actually seen them grow. So I think for me, it's not really about the numbers; it's about the actual impact that we see and the transformation that we see in the entrepreneurs.
To our viewers at home, please drop us your comments, questions to form part of this important discussion, and we promise that we'll address them at the end. So you spoke a little bit about impact, and I assume that impact is supposed to have some sort of indicator that informs it. What are these KPIs that we're talking about?
So I think just to mention a few that are sort of vital for us and are very common amongst SMMEs. So it's growth in revenue, first things first. It's the number of jobs created, so job creation as a whole, and most importantly, converting leads into actual contracts. Because if you can look at it, all of these steps, all of these KPIs that I've mentioned, they are interlinked in a sense that they ensure that the SMME is now ready to convert the leads into actual contracts, which means they now have more work that they need to execute. They now need more people that need to work in order to execute the work, and then that results obviously in an increase in revenue, an increase in profits, which then means that I'm now competitive over the other person who hasn't been in the program or who hasn't even been part of any incubation process. They haven't had the tools and resources, to sort of move forth or have a competitive advantage. So this is how some of the KPIs that are very vital for the growth of these businesses, and this is what we monitor throughout the course of the program.
And how do we do that, right? So here are these KPIs that I assume are at the beginning of the program, and we say we're going to do all these lovely things, and then we're going to monitor them over the duration of the program. And then at some other stage, we're at the end, which is now the exit. How do we monitor these KPIs, and how important is it for a successful exit?
So first of all, monitoring these KPIs is very vital because without the understanding that we've actually achieved or met the KPIs or any requirements in that light, we are not certain that the program has been effective, right? So there's various things that we do to monitor our KPIs. The first one being the fact that we want to be part of the journey throughout the SMMEs, journey in the program. So we want to be part of that in the sense that we attend these interventions that we put in place for them. If there's any training, we actually avail ourselves for that training because we want to be able to pick up on any inconsistencies that may exist, any gaps that exist, challenges, so that we can be able to address them at that point, as opposed to attending to them at the end of the program, right? So that's the whole point of us, wanting to be in sync with everything that they are doing. The second one is also important, which is the assessments that we run throughout the course of the program. So we do various assessments with the SMMEs where we get feedback from them on which gaps they want to close or what challenges they have. So that helps us to sort of understand what we need to address. And I think the most important one is the feedback or reports that we get from our service providers, most specifically our mentors. So we believe that our mentors have a very strong relationship, yes, with these SMMEs, and they create a platform for SMMEs to be comfortable enough to share with them things that I think they wouldn't ideally share with us at any given time. So these reports give us the platform for us to sort of have like the voice. They sort of play that role of the voice of the SMME, and we are able to sort of take that and walk with them and deal with every challenge that they have right there and then.
I do think that program exit is an important part of program management and execution. It does mark something.
Yes.
But what are some of the things that we do here at home to show that we understand the importance of program exit? What some of the things that we attach to exiting SMMEs from programs?
So there's various things, just to mention, there's various things that we do. I think the first one being, I think I touched on it a bit. So we assess the SMME's readiness to exit. So we need to be confident. Remember, confidence is a thing for us that we use to measure if our program are performing as they should. So we need to be confident that this person is ready to actually move forth from the program, right? So we assess that readiness through an end of phase assessment. So that assessment will will give us an indication of some of our top achievers in terms of their overall attendance and their impact overall. So we use that to sort of establish which SMMEs we need to bring forth for what we call testimonial videos. So testimonial videos live on our social media platforms. They are literally a platform for our SMMEs to share insights and to share feedback about how the program has been for them. So we use that. So beyond, after that, the testimonial video phase, we then go into what we call an exit ceremony. So an exit ceremony is basically us saying, okay, we appreciate you. We appreciate the work that you've put in place to ensure that you benefit from this program. We want to celebrate you, for that. So we have various awards that we give to our SMMEs. Including certificates and trophies, So we have various categories that we have, and just to mention two. So the first one can be in terms of attendance. There are some SMMEs that actually commit to attending all of them. So we do get SMMEs that perform 100% overall.
Yes.
So those are, that's very important for us because, we push for commitment in these programs.
Yeah.
And, we also recognize interaction because we get feedback from our service providers as well. So we find that some SMEs have been much more inquisitive. They want to know more. They want to learn more. They even bother. I don't know if that makes sense, but the service providers would say, your people are calling, which is a good thing for us because we want them to do that because this is for them. And if they don't grab the opportunity with both arms, then they won't really be able to, gain much from the program. Yeah. So yes, those are some of the things that we do to sort of monitor that.
You mentioned program exit ceremony. I mean, it sounds very fancy. I mean, I work here, but I don't know if I've received invites. But who are some of the important stakeholders that are part of these exit ceremonies? And as they were part of the program from onboarding, why is it equally important for them to be there now at the exit of the ceremony?
Yes, so I think yes, it is. We aim to make it, as fancy as we can because, it's very important for us to give that message to the SMEs saying that you are that important to us. We want you to feel important during that day. We want you to see that we actually value you, right? So I think just to mention a few, so it's obviously us, the implementation partners, and it's the service providers that we have. So that includes mentors and, training coordinators and everyone else. But most importantly, it's our client, right? Because we want that ceremony to be a platform where the client can come forth and say to the SMMEs, we appreciate you. We appreciate you being on this program. We appreciate you choosing our program over all other programs. And most importantly, it's a platform for them to share any other opportunities that they have, whether it's funding opportunities or even another incubation, but in another sphere, like a technical approach or something like that. Yes. So it's a platform for them to do that. But also it's a platform for our service providers to also get feedback, and I believe it helps them to tailor make their training for the next participants or whatever else service, how they structure their services rather for the upcoming participants.
Yeah. To our viewers at home, once again, please drop us your comments, questions, and we promise that we will address them at the end of the session. So I think, graduation or exit or that part of the program is quite important, and it sounds like we fuss over it.
Yes.
But is it a significant part of the program that we use to inform the next steps of the program or the next cohort? Is it something that we can get lessons learned from, or whatever it is that we can abstract from there to ensure that we improve on the next cohort?
Definitely, definitely. It's a platform for us to get insights, it's a platform for us to get feedback about how we can be able to sort of structure our program for the upcoming participants. So it's a platform through the testimonial videos, but not only that, but I think the assessment as well that we run at the end of the incubation program. So that feedback is very vital for us because we want to make sure that when we prepare the program, it actually speaks to the needs of the SMMEs. It speaks to their requirements or the challenges that they have in their businesses, right? So we sort of want an approach where we tailor make the programs to benefit the SMMEs and not have a generic approach.
Yeah.
So also one thing that I want to mention is at the end of the phase, we actually do submit a closing report to our clients. So we have a lessons learned section. So we want them to see because we believe so much in continuous improvement.
Yes.
We believe so much that you can never, be enough, or you can never be in a place where the program is perfect, because
Yes.
each and every year we have different SMMEs. So it gives us that approach, or it gives us the information that we need in order to sort of, structure our programs during the planning phase of the program to ensure that it speaks to what the SMMEs actually need and not what we think they may need.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience before we close off? Right. What are some of the requirements used for an SME to join these programs? So maybe just touch on some of the key requirements that we look at in order to qualify for a program.
Okay, so it varies as per the program. So because
Programs,
each and every client has their own needs and requirements. But most importantly, I think it's important that an SMME has all the required documentation for their business. So it speaks to your CIPC, your triple BE compliance. Yes. So it's very important that we have all of that documents, because we need to screen. So in order for you to ensure that you are actually successful in the program, you need to be able to sort of have 100% compliance in terms of the needs of whatever industry that you operate within. But I think also, just to add, we also look at our aim is to sort of give the opportunity to people that actually need the program. We actually do consider this a lot, because we need to be able to see. We have an application form that speaks to the answers that we get based on the questions that we ask. It indicates which SMMEs are ready and which SMMEs will actually get more from the program.
Yes. And just to add on that, so we do value experience. Yeah, I hope people don't shoot us down for this, but yes. So it is nice if you have some trade history, because we do believe that we can add value. So we can really pivot you if you have some sort of experience in what you do. Right. So any words of wisdom or gems to SMEs, specifically that are on ESD programs or have been on ESD programs, just about commitment and immersing yourself and trying to find value in the program so that you can eventually stick it out until you exit the program?
I think it's important that SMMEs understand that these programs are put in place for their benefit. So as much as we can give them all the necessary tools and resources, it's important that they actually utilize them to their full capacity, and they actually put in the work to actually, better their businesses. So they need to show a certain level of commitment in wanting to be in that program. They need to ensure that by the time they exit, they are ready and ripe to actually go out there and be stable, and actually be competitive over their peers in the same industry. So it's very important that they understand that. And I think, we can never learn enough. I think one thing that I've heard from SMMEs before is, why should I be on this? What am I going to gain from this? But I think one thing for sure, get in there, take that first step, take that leap of faith rather, and see how your business can develop from there. Because we don't only aim to qualify you in terms of the skills that you need for your business, but even your personal growth matters. Because remember, as a small business, you still need to represent yourself in front of people, and you still need to stand in and win contracts over others. So we actually invest in that as well. So it's very important that SMEs understand that they need to commit themselves, and they need to never stop the journey of innovation and growth, so because it's very beneficial for them.
And then what do you have to say to people like us, CST program managers, specialists, specifically about designing programs that are valuable, and programs that SMEs can look forward to and last and get to the exit stage?
I think, it's very important that ESD specialists, if I can put it that way, ensure that, they structure the exit just as much as they structure the onboarding. So a lot of work is put in place to ensure that we have the right SMMEs. We have established the gaps that actually do exist in their business, and we respond to the gaps directly. So I think we should put as much effort in ensuring that we exit them the same way, by assessing what was established at the start, and ensuring that it correlates to the impact that we aim to have in the business's life cycle as a whole. So it's very important that ESD managers also listen to the feedback that we get from previous participants and incorporate that into the planning phase of these programs, and run with it, because like I mentioned before, these programs need to speak directly to the needs of SMMEs.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's true. Yeah. ESD, if done right, is really a value chain. And I know earlier you were telling me about a service provider that was quite
Yes,
excited
yes.
that the SMEs that we had allocated to them have now taken up more work with them. And that's what we want. If it's done right, it's really a value chain that's meant to transform everybody in that value chain. So super insightful. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We've come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if there are any other questions, comments, queries. Are we okay? Okay, so I can close off now. So please join us on the next episode of the Zivoli on Corner and drop your comments, queries, anything, so that we can address them at a later stage. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Zivoli on Corner. Remember, Zivoli exists to bridge the gap between SMEs and corporates to ensure that supplier diversity is business as usual. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.